Hello, this is Corin DuBose with another video titled Demonic Paramilitary Organizations and Psychic Vampirism. So that once again, that's Demonic Paramilitary Organizations and Psychic Vampirism. You're probably wondering, what the heck is a demonic paramilitary organization? Well, we all know what demons are. Evil spirits, right? Paramilitary organization is basically an organization with military or law enforcement capability that doesn't answer to the normal channels of authority, or they don't have a normal chain of command or central authority that's identifiable to the public. So these people are, you could say they're secretive agencies, more along the lines of what you would call the men in black. But these people are not necessarily the men in black, and some of that is involved in what's going on. And this really, and you have what's going on is the CIA slipped up and it let stuff leak out. And a lot of these other organizations, not directly associated or affiliated with the CIA, have the same technology. And there's technology to microchip, track people around, monitor them, private satellites, civilian front groups, front companies, front schools, front organizations, front everything, front scientists, just about anything that you can imagine that can be faked as to what its true purpose is, or you can take it and put a facade on it, like an Easter egg game. Every child knows by the time they get up in age that Easter is about hunting for two types of eggs. There are the eggs with the prizes, and candy inside. And then there's the regular eggs that your mother adds in there to teach you how to, get your protein. So okay. So with that being said, these people are hiding. And while they're hiding, they're doing things in society that is advancing them, but not the rest of society. So for example, they might be smarter, have better research than Harvard, better aerospace, better computers, with faster RAM, a lot more cloud, capable, CPU drives and stuff like that. Advanced fiber optics and laser technology. It's like I said, it's state-of-the-art technology not available to the public. So you're wondering, well, what does this have to do with paramilitary organizations and vampires? You know what I'm saying? Demons, vampires, and in the military. How can that possibly be tied in to one conversation? If at all. Well, easier said than done. Basically, we're in a situation on this planet where these people have been allowed to go into this process of being removed from official society. And once removed from official society, and they know they can operate outside of the law and outside of international standards and scientific scrutiny, they don't have to obey the Pentagon or NASA or any other federal agency. That they don't answer to the Department of Justice. Well, imagine the possibilities of things that you could potentially be tapped on the back or tapped on the shoulder for, as it's more accurately stated inside of military circles. Tap you on the shoulder and get you to do me a favor. So if I wanted a favor, such as a favor that is potentially legally gonna get me in trouble, if I have this favor covered up, I want it covered out by somebody who cannot legally get me in trouble or even get in trouble themselves. And hence the paramilitary organization is secretive. But okay, so where is this going? Is there a point to this video? And why is there demons and vampires involved in your conversation? Well, who has the guts to do some of these things? Because some of what's being done is horrific. And namely, that is pulling children out of foster care, out of poverty and homelessness, especially immigration and people who cannot speak English or the language of their abductors. And they're experimenting on these people. Not only that, they're recruiting some of these people into some of the same organizations I mentioned. So they're not just getting people out of Blackwater, out of the U.S. Army Rangers, Spec Ops, ex-cops and other people who might, they're not just recruiting common criminals, all right? Even though the bulk of the people that are doing this have some military, law enforcement, or intel background. I mean, they've once been federal employees. And once they've been recruited into these black site and paramilitary shadow organizations, they are off the radar. They don't have a true identity. They can be shopping right in front of you at Walmart every other day. And as a regular customer, but she secretly lives a life where she is experimenting on adopted people's children. These are the millions of children that go missing around the world. Some of them are crimes and there's foul play, and it's normal criminal activity involved in kidnappings and the deaths of children. But they are recruiting children and other human beings, particularly women, that nobody's gonna care about. And this is the same list of people, except barring the extermination of the Jews by the Nazi SS and Adolf Hitler. But this is the same list of people that they had in the concentration camps, that are displaced people with nowhere to go and nobody to speak up for them, that have no rights, and nobody knows about you, so nobody's coming to look for you, and they don't know you're missing unless you're just a flyer on side of a telephone pole. The last place you're seen is on a telegram pole. Okay? And so these demonic people are usually working for extremely elitist, shadowy organizations that are attached to these demonic people. At the top, there is a food chain to this deep state. There's a food chain to this globalist so-called Illuminati New World Order and Illuminism. Or it is highly enlightened. That's why they're called illuminated. Okay? These are the people that are able to access stuff and do things that the rest of society is not actually privy to. They have abilities and reach into our lives that is not being made public, and they don't have public scrutiny and no one to answer to. And there's a reason for that, because they're protecting people that depend on feeding on other human beings in order to learn, educate themselves, evolve themselves spiritually, and they need a constant supply of hosts once they die to switch bodies and attach to. A lot like that movie where Denzel Washington played in that was called Fallen. During Fallen, you right remember that these fallen entities, the way they survive is they jump from host to host. But it's nowhere as theatrical and dynamic as what was depicted in the movie Fallen. But it's very much the same phenomenon, except these beings are not truly demons with horns poking out of their heads and jagged bat wings flying around waiting with pitchforks. What they are is the people that caused the Great Flood. The people that caused the Great Flood have a lot to lose. Namely, this current civilization and modern era of space-age technology and sending information at the speed of light around the world, watching everybody through surveillance and controlling all the banking flow of population, food, and resources. And these centralized, compartmented, secret men are walking around in human bodies as if these human bodies are a pair of jeans. You can take this pair off when it's old and useless. You're tired of it. You don't want to wash it anymore. There's no recycling it. There's a human body is getting too old, and all you have to do is jump to the next body. There's a rumor that certain presidents, and I don't know if you heard this rumor in the conspiracy circles or paranormal research circles, that certain presidents on inauguration night undergo a process where one of these entities is allowed to use that president as a host while they're living inside of the White House as president. And if this process does not take, or if that president is not a fitting candidate, they will have a surrogate stand behind them and a whole coven of these people constantly around that president to make decisions in line with the spirit that is unfortunately for itself not able to have a living host at the moment, or maybe the host is not the president and cannot publicly run America. And it's not just America. It's going on in a lot of places. And a lot of people don't realize that some of this is just secrecy. And when they start gang stalking people like me, it's when we breaking free or somehow become alert or dangerous to these organizations that are doing this to us. I mean, either A, the good ETs have contacted us, as in my case. I'm not really to know if I'm a abductee, but I've been contacted. And that seems to have triggered it. Or B, they have some knowledge they want to extract from us. And they will soul capture you. They have devices, and I'm not sure exactly how it works. But I think what the soul capturing process doing is trapping a person into a certain frequency box. It's like a certain energy frequencies that astral beings cannot pass through. Therefore, they can lock you in a place where they can do things to you and study you even after your death and utilize you. And they can put you into a host body that you don't want to be in, or even into a body that's already been hosted by one of these entities, whereby it will feed on you and prey on your lifetime educational memory, which is everything you learned, everything you ever saw, everyone you ever knew and loved or hated on this planet, wrapped up into one spark of awareness. And they'll take it and use it to learn that into themselves and skip the entire process of living. In the video, I'm gonna make these videos a lot shorter because it shortens the upload time. Once again, demonic paramilitary organizations and psychic vampirism and gang stalking. That's why this is going on. There is a reason. All right, there is a reason why they come up there to their art school and sit around me and manipulate the students using their thought processes and heckle me. I mean, why would you have people from the military, apparently looking like they're from the military, who just sit around art school and pretend to be students not actually enrolled, and sit up there and heckle you while you ask the drawing instructor questions? It's like, you know, just blur out stupid stuff, heckle you. And they'll sit around you in groups and like they'll ring themselves around you. And it's always the same gang of people. And what they'll do is they'll always sit by each other. And once the gang stalking begins, there's always a leader somewhere around you. So the person who's directing everybody's attention to you may not actually be in the CIA, but they may be just the person whose mind that they're targeting at the moment. So like if I spark off this one person's mind so he can become angry, then link all of that anger and thought process to everyone in the classroom, you've disrupted the person's life on campus, so they have to leave. And once you isolate that person to somewhere where you're more comfortable targeting and processing this person's soul or lifetime educational memory, vampiring off of them, what they'll do once the situation becomes terminal and they've basically stripped so many layers of your thought process off, is they'll arrange for you to be murdered via public manipulation, law enforcement manipulation, and just social engineering, which is what it's called, social engineering. And the NSA and an organization little known called the National Reconnaissance Office is deeply involved in this aspect, the final aspect, because number one, they have to clear the use of these intensely focused microsonic and microwave energy beams. You can focus microwaves and sound down into a ray almost akin to a laser. So there are sound rays and there are microwave rays, and in a manner of speaking, scalar wave radiation is it's X-band and X-ray radiation. It's literally a death ray in outer space, and it's completely legal. I mean, not by international standards, but the UN is in New York, so it's not representing the United Nations. So it's representing those people that are feeding on your children, and that's all they're gonna do. And that's all they're ever gonna do. And this is not gonna stop. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut the video right here. And that's what this is. These people have total reign to run amok in society, and they have nuclear arms, other federal organizations and law enforcement to protect them, and they have no identity. So prepare to defend yourself. I'm not gonna continue to invite people to just start shooting and purchasing firearms to go on a witch hunt for these paramilitary people. But if you identify them, it's your life, man. It's your life that they're taking and playing with. And they're trying to kill you. It's your life. Okay? End the video.